Mic check. Yeah, this is actually my first time in Poland, so I was really excited about it, really enjoying Gdansk so far. If you couldn't tell, from the US. And I go to a lot of conferences in the United States. You can see I have a picture here of all the badges that I had. I kept them all. This is just in the past 6 months, so I go to a lot of conferences. And the problem with the conferences in the United States is they're typically in the same two spots, especially in the tech sector. San Francisco and Vegas. And if anyone's ever been to San Francisco or Vegas, they're like the worst places to go in the United States. And you just continuously have to go to these same two places all the time for all these conferences. And I figured there's a whole world out there to see, but typical American, you're just staying in America, going to the same two places for every single conference. And so I decided to let fate, kind of decide my next move, and I went to Amazon and I bought a map and I bought a dart. And I put a blindfold on and I threw the dart at the map and I said, wherever it lands, I'm going to try to go to a conference wherever it lands. And it landed in Poland. There's a video of me, and that's my reaction. I've never been to Poland. I don't know much about Poland, to be quite honest with you, but I'm learning a ton. Everyone seems to be super friendly here and welcoming. And the reason I use this example as well is because today's marketers, it feels like we need to be everywhere all at once. You have to do ads, you have to do email, you have to do events, you have to be in person. And it kind of feels like we're just throwing a dart blindfolded, hoping to get success. And so today we're going to be talking about, I would say, a newer trend within the B2B marketing space, influencer marketing. It has been around for a while, but there are some, I would say it's growing in popularity over the past year or so. And so today, specifically about influencer marketing, we'll talk about the challenges within the current B2B go-to-market, the rise of influencer marketing within the B2B sector, why the time is right, some examples for you guys, and some recommendations on how to actually get started. But first, I'll introduce myself. My name is Vin Matano. I'm from New York, and I run a B2B influencer marketing agency called Creatorbuzz. And so we work with tons of different B2B SaaS companies, actually helping them build and manage their influencer programs, primarily on channels like LinkedIn, newsletters, YouTube, to help increase awareness for their company. Prior to that, I spent the last 6 years in B2B SaaS as a seller, which is how I got into the content creation. Now, the reason, kind of why I started this business, as I was in my former role, I started to notice a few different trends that were interesting. I worked for an ad tech company, so a lot of our clients were spending, thousands, some millions of dollars of advertising dollars per year. And so what we're noticing is that advertising spend continued to rise year after year, and it's projected to continue to rise. Advertising budgets continuously get increased, but at the same time, there's actually a decrease in the performance. The average click-through rate right now is 0.46%. So what does that mean? We're spending more and more on paid advertising dollars, seeing less results. And then on top of that, I was a former sales guy for 6 years, so I know this struggle all too well. I'm not going to say cold outbound is dead, but it's getting really, really hard. With automation, AI, like basically globalization, anyone can sell to anybody, basically. Industry reply rates are sitting under 2% right now. So even salespeople are struggling. And why is this? We're seeing less conversions, we're seeing less replies from salespeople. It's because buyers want to shop anonymously. 80% of the buyer's journey is done anonymously. And that's because they know if they fill out a form, they know that an annoying salesperson like myself will reach out and cold call you or cold email you until you accept a meeting. So people really shifted the way that they buy. They want to buy in communities. They want to hear from recommendations. They want to shop anonymously, go to your website, consume content, maybe get a recommendation from a trusted advisor or an influencer. And this really led to the trend of B2B influencer marketing. 93% of B2B marketers are looking to invest or start B2B influencer marketing in 2025. And for those who don't know, B2B influencer marketing is basically just working with a thought leader, someone that's well respected, in your industry to help promote your services or your software. So not only does the buyer's behaviors change, but also the distribution channel has changed a ton. LinkedIn, of course, started as a place where you create a digital resume, started as a place where you network with people. but is soon becoming one of the largest social platforms in the market. In March of 2024, they released their new video feed to everybody. So if you look on your phone on the LinkedIn app, on the bottom left-hand corner, you should have this video feed. And they're really trying to push video content on the platform. Why is that? We'll get into a few different reasons, but the main reason is to get people on the platform longer. That way they can benefit from their ads business. And one of the bigger trends that not a lot of people are talking about, I would say, is the rise of Gen Z entering the workforce. In 2025, this year, 75% of the workforce is Gen Z and millennials. And Gen Z, they enjoy consuming video content. 29% of the videos that are posted to LinkedIn are actually from Gen Z. So as they become more relevant in the workforce, as they take on more responsibility and have more buying power, video content or just social content in general is going to be extremely important. But LinkedIn has a problem. LinkedIn is a content deficient platform, meaning there's not enough content on the platform for the amount of users that are consuming it. With over 1 billion users, only 1% of their platform is actually creating content. And that means there's a big opportunity for you and your brands to actually take advantage of this. Video in particular is the fastest growing on the platform. Video uploads are up 34% year after year. And on top of that, they lead to a 1.4x increase in engagement compared to other content types. And you guys might be thinking like, okay, but does this stuff even work? So I decided to use an example of a company that potentially you may or may not relate to, but we worked with a company called Call Cloud. They newer to market, they just came to market. They're a power dialer tool for sellers, and they're going up against really large competition. They have this great product, they truly believe in the product, but no one knows about them. And their main goal is like, hey, we want to drive signups for our new tool once we launch. And so the strategy here was we worked with actually 5 influencers. They didn't have the largest budget, but we worked with 5 influencers, all in the sales niche. A few of them were creating more tactical content of how to cold call and filming their live cold calling. Others were creating skits or parodies really for that top of funnel. And then others are kind of somewhere in the middle. And between 5 creators and about $7K in monthly spend, they created 15 videos, drove 720,000 impressions, and 4x their demo requests. So this stuff actually works. This is an example of a smaller company, but the largest companies are investing into this as well, like Adobe, Microsoft, LinkedIn, are all doing influencer marketing, IBM, NVIDIA. Now, there's different types of influencers I would recommend if you're looking to start to test the waters out with B2B influencer marketing. And we like to recommend to our clients a kind of full funnel approach when you're looking for creators. Now, in the consumer space, you guys might think of influencer marketing maybe in the fashion space or the supplement space or the fitness space, lifestyle. But in B2B, it's very, very important to niche down. If you sell marketing software, you're not going to have someone with a finance background promote your tool. And so when we're looking for creators, of course, niche down is important. But when we think about someone that can just generate lots of impressions to get that top of funnel awareness, we think of creators that fall within this like edutainment category. Basically, they are educating you on something, but also making it entertaining. And so we worked with one of these creators in the sales space to create like a skit or a parody about the buying experience in B2B software. And this was purely for top of funnel awareness. We did this to generate impressions. There was no sign up or anything like that. This video he did where he was making fun of the buying experience of buying software. He compared it to like a car salesman not showing the customer the car and scheduling a demo weeks out. This one got over 1 million impressions, 1,000 likes, purely for that awareness. The next creator that you kind of want to look for are these generalists. And these generalists will be in a certain niche that you care most about, and they can talk about the challenges and pain points that you experience or your customers experience within this industry. This is going to be kind of moderate level of impressions, moderate level of engagement. And as we go down the funnel, this is where we start to look at the SMEs, or the subject matter experts. These are the individuals that maybe don't have the largest reach. However, they are a trusted person within that core industry. The example I listed here actually is for one of our clients. They sell into RevOps and marketing ops. which is a very niche role. And so what we did was we worked with a marketing ops creator, and she basically created like a workflow tutorial from the tool. It was very much in depth. Obviously, it didn't lead to the most reach, but when we think about this full funnel approach, all the individuals that engage with this piece of content are exactly who this company wants to sell to. They're all marketing ops leaders that want to consume content of how to create workflows or improve your lead flow, etc. So this is our strategy. Work with the edutainment creators to get that top funnel awareness, the generalists to help bring through the funnel, and the subject matter experts to really, really go deep within a certain niche. Now, there's many different ways you can also work with influencers as well. Like, I think the most traditional sense is like a sponsored post. But there are many ways. By no means is this an all-encompassing list. But some of our clients are leveraging influencers in many different ways, like a sponsored LinkedIn post, of course, generally for awareness. Some of our clients that follow a PLG motion, meaning they're product-led, they want folks to sign up for the tool and use the tool, they might go for lead signups. This could happen by creating a unique link and sharing it with the influencer or creator to share on their post, on a newsletter, on a podcast, on a YouTube video, whatever the case may be. The other piece is also helping develop assets, right? So it's no question that video assets perform best in terms of the advertising on social platforms. So instead of having, someone from the marketing team create a video and running that as an ad, you can work with a creator who already makes really great content and is a familiar face in your industry. Have them create the asset that you will now own that you can also run ads with. Or have them actually contribute to your company-owned assets. You don't actually have to pay them to post to their channel. You can work with creators if you guys have any white papers coming up that you're developing, or blog posts, or podcast appearances, events like this, anything where you can get the creator to contribute to assets that you own and you can distribute. The other one is around events, and this is honestly one of the more popular and more in-demand channels that brands are working with us on in terms of collaborating with influencers. Some of the largest companies out there right now, like Adobe, like I mentioned, LinkedIn, Microsoft, they're investing pretty heavily into influencer marketing at their events. I was at Dreamforce last September, which is Salesforce's event, and it's got like 50,000 people at this event. It's massive, and they had a whole area of basically sales creators, operations creators, corporate humor creators, like Corporate Bro is a popular one. All these creators were there creating content at these events. Because depending on the size of the event, companies can spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars just to attend these events, to have a booth, to be a sponsor. And what you don't want to happen is you put all this time and energy into creating this event and working on this event, and then the day after the event ends, it all ends there. And so when you work with these creators, it allows you to create content from those events to have shelf life, content that lasts 3, 4, 5, 6 months after the actual event itself. And then also use the creators to help increase attendance at these events, to increase, create FOMO for next year's events. And so this is something that's super popular. We'll share some examples of that for you guys in just a bit. And then the other one is content distribution. So marketing teams spend a lot of time working really hard to create different content assets, whether that's around, like I mentioned earlier, newsletters, white papers, research reports, webinars. Oftentimes it's not really a value issue. A lot of these content assets have really great value. Oftentimes it's a distribution issue. It's kind of hard to get someone to download a 30-page white paper, right? And so I'll go through some examples of these. I won't go through all of them just for the time's sakes. But there's a lot of companies out there right now that are creating these annual research reports. And they take a lot of time and energy to develop these. But oftentimes it's kind of hard to get people to download them and consume them. And so I really like this example of a company called Hootsuite. They're in the social media management space. They created their annual social media trends report, right? Really large report that they work on annually. I talked to the team. It takes them months to produce. And it's a really big pipeline driver for them. And so they wanted to make sure they got the most out of this white paper this year. And so instead of just like posting it on LinkedIn and hoping people download it, they actually worked with some creators. They worked with 9 creators, and they kind of turned this report into this big physical copy. And they had all the creators post this kind of newspaper that said breaking news, the biggest social trends of 2025. And what this did was actually like help stop and break the feed when you're scrolling. It's something that stands out. And they had 9 creators, and their CEO, Irina, was on one of the publications called Adweek, and she said that this campaign generated 1 million in pipeline and counted for 66% of all their downloads, which is pretty incredible. And so there's other examples you guys can use as well. Like this is for an event strategy where you might have some creators creating some pre-event promo to help maybe drive registration or just to get people excited about it. While at these events, you might see this kind of content style quite frequently, but it's kind of capturing street interviews and other types of content that's at these events. This is something that's very popular and also pretty easy to pull off. And then also these recap videos, again, to get people excited for next year and create some FOMO. Or even like, think about gifting campaigns, right? I think in the consumer space, you see a lot of gifting campaigns. In the B2B space, these can also be used quite interesting as well. So one of our clients, Hockey Stack, it's in the B2B attribution space. They released their new AI function, which every company this year has released an AI function. And it was named after the god of magic, Odin. And so what we did was we sent a bunch of creators in the marketing space a box that had we had like a custom magic 8-ball, a wand, and the copy within the box led them down to a demo of the new Odin tool. And everyone kind of created these videos of unboxing the tool and showing the demo of the tool. So it's kind of a unique way to get the word out of this new feature. They even hired a magician with 3 million followers to help kind of narrate that story, which is pretty interesting. Cool. So how can you guys get started? Here's what I'd recommend. Start small. Month 1, identify a goal. Are we looking for signups? Do people know who we are? Or do we have pretty good brand awareness and we really want to focus on driving those end users? Come up with a game plan for that. What type of content do we want to create? What type of creators? What niche of creators is most important? Maybe some companies sell into different niches. You can start really small with like less than 5 influencers. It's not hard to find a few influencers in your niche. Your customers might know them. Once you find one, you can ask that one for a recommendation for another, and so forth. And you should be able to work with roughly 3-5 influencers, maybe on a 3-month campaign, and get some data back to see what's working and what's not working. Once you hit that month 6 mark, after that quarter ends, this is where maybe we sign the top influencers that perform the best, and maybe not continue working with ones that maybe didn't perform as well. This is where we're continuously adding more creators to the list. And month 7, we expand that roster and we repeat. And then lastly, like, take big swings. In B2B, the bar is set so damn low. Most content out there right now in B2B space is just, I mean, you guys know this, it's very boring. And so doing anything different just stands out on the feed, specifically on LinkedIn. And if you guys need any help, we've worked with some really great brands based here in Europe, based in the US, from large enterprise companies to startups just trying to kind of get their brand out there. And I'd be happy to chat more. This is my LinkedIn if you guys want to connect. If you're not ready to chat, that's totally cool. I share tons of tips and tricks and trends within the B2B go-to-market space. And appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A big applause. Vin Matano from USA.